Mom freaks out after I tell her I, an intern living by myself, can't really afford to buy gourmet cat food every month for her. From user Self-Indulgent Kiddo. After that, entitled guy claims to work at my bar, ends up getting tased. From user 2-ton tone. After that, entitled dad shamed by restaurant hostess. From user NJB. And then we'll be wrapping up with entitled father almost attacked me over a shirt. From user Fad Samurai 92. Thank you so much to our authors for letting us read your stories. And if you're an author who would like me to read your stories next, please submit them to the r/Mr. Reddit subreddit. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories every single day. Mom freaks out after I tell her I, an intern living by myself, can't really afford to buy gourmet cat food every month for her. Some background info and drama for y'all. My mother has been, at least for as long as I've been alive, on a cycle of employment and unemployment, and she kind of believes no job is good enough for her, so she's always quitting. I have referred to her as a narcissist for therapists, and they have agreed, but it doesn't feel really appropriate to stick a personality disorder label to her like that. Anyway, this on-off employment status has created a really rough and unstable childhood for me, financially. However, as far as I remember, I was a pretty happy kid, with some issues of course, but happy. My mom was basically my hero. As I grew older, however, I learned how money is earned, how much things cost, and the like. The comfy bubble my mom had created eventually burst. Mom always tried to maintain a very high standard of living, despite her frequent unemployment status, and she's been successful for the most part by borrowing money from relatives. Then, eventually, from me when I was old enough to work, because she can't even have a credit card or take a loan because she owes a fortune to the banks. Borrowing, because she usually never gives the money back, of course. So, about high standards of living. She always wanted the best stuff, and she thinks expensive is better. So yeah, always the most expensive soap, toothpaste, shampoo, toilet paper, food products in general, rent, etc. She has 2 cats, and recently she got a job. Last year it lasted 6 months, and asked for me to use my credit card to buy cat food for her, since she has no credit. So, the pet food she buys for the cats is approximately $50. I don't know about other countries, but where I live, Latin America, that's really expensive. It's some gourmet cat food, organic, even has blueberries in it. But okay, she had a job, and I never complained. She paid me back, and things were fine. As for myself, I'm a grad student, control engineering major, 22, living by myself, and currently on an internship on a pretty big company, which pays me almost $350 a month. That's a little more than average for engineering internships, but I still don't lead a super comfortable life as the cost of living in my city is unusually high. Rent is about $200. I live on a rented bedroom located on a shady neighborhood and eat frozen lasagna every day. So yeah. I started working when I was 16 in order to try and pay rent and all of that expensive stuff for my mom when we used to live together, since she would rarely be employed. And when I suggested her to take simpler jobs, such as cleaning, cashier jobs, maybe fast food, she would go absolutely nuts, scream at me, and verbally abuse me in the worst ways possible. So yeah, I've given up on that. She will only take roles such as manager. Well, high status jobs, you know? She thinks other jobs are for people beneath her and humiliating. I still remember when I got my first paycheck, and we basically had nothing to eat at home other than instant ramen. So I withdrew all my money and told her, let's buy groceries. She bought Nutella, a huge bucket of ice cream, and a box of chocolates, then took me to McDonald's. That made me realize she had a really poor sense of priorities. After turning 20, I decided that was too much for me, that I deserved better. So I moved out. Mom, for the most part, was supportive, as much as she could. I could eventually sense she was really bitter about losing her cash cow. That was 2 years ago. A year ago, she decided to leave this city because she couldn't find a job and go live closer to her relatives. Again, there are jobs here, just not the ones she wanted. When she moved, she immediately got a job my uncle arranged for her. That was her last job, the one which lasted 6 months. Currently, she is not paying rent because she is living in an apartment my uncle owns, and she is probably living off some other uncle or aunt's money because she definitely has no savings, never had. She doesn't have any possessions she could sell either. Very tough situation, and I've always been really worried about her. But I've been going to therapy, and I'm trying to detach myself from this reality that causes me so much suffering and focus on my own life, because I have a lot on my plate already. I'm a student, and I barely make enough to live. Dude. Also, I really doubt the food lasts 3 months. It's 7 kilograms. For 2 cats, that means about 40 grams a day for each. So, what? That's starvation, dude. Now, I wonder if she's starving the cats in order not to lower her standards. I'm still a little shaken because even though I did nothing wrong, it feels bad to read stuff like that from your own mom. She really feels entitled to a lot of stuff. I feel bad for her, living like that. The worst part is knowing she'll never change. Edit. I've seen some recurring questions and would like to address them. Mom does refer to the cats as being brought home by me. Well, I told her I really wanted to adopt a kitty when I was 12. We looked at adoption ads and got our first kitty then. 3 months later, we adopted another one. She was the one who signed the adoption papers. I understand that I have some moral responsibility for bringing it up on the first place, but, well, I was 12. She was the one who made the decision. Anyway, when she moved out of town, I paid 2 airplane tickets for the cats. Yeah, when you take your pets with you on an airplane, you kinda have to pay for an airplane ticket for them, plus some other stuff. She kinda freaked out about the possibility of being separated from them and hinted at possibly ending her life if they didn't come with her. Since my mom is kinda crazy, I took it seriously. I don't mind helping with their expenses, I just wish I could choose stuff that fits my budget. But apparently, for mom, that's too much to ask for. When I first made this post, I had no idea of the price of rent around the world and how crazy different it can be. I legit thought that by converting my currency to US dollars, it would be fine and everyone would understand. I've seen some people saying they pay $2,000 a month. What the heck? Well, turns out you have to consider wages, purchasing power, etc. Next we've got entitled guy claims to work at my bar, ends up getting tased. Backstory. I used to be a bouncer in a small town, Midwest bar for about 4 years, and while I have a wealth of entitled jerk stories, this one is my favorite. Cast. We've got the door guy, me. We've got the huge guy. We've got big fella's girlfriend, and we've got DJ, the drunk jerk, star of the show. Let's begin. So it was a pretty smooth Thursday night. Not too busy, not too slow. I'm working the door and clearing empties from nearby tables when this mountain of a man comes up to me with a woman about half his size in tow. Enter huge guy and big fella's girlfriend, and in a booming voice, huge guy says, "Hey, door guy, we got a problem." Me, thinking, well, this can't be good. "Yeah, what's up?" His girlfriend, "There's this guy over there, and well, he came up to our table, and at first he was nice, so we were talking and stuff, but now he's getting pretty creepy and started grabbing me." Huge guy, "I made it clear he needs to stop, but now he's doing the same thing to another table," and points across the bar. I look to where he's pointing, and see a man who is easily in his late 40s at a table with 3 women who are half his age, his arm around one, and all 3 looking very uncomfortable. Seeing this, I decide it's definitely time to go on the clock and get involved. Huge guy and his girlfriend are regulars, so I ask them to watch the door for me, and I make my way over to the table just in time to catch DJ saying something too inappropriate to post here. Let's just say he was talking about a party that none of the women looked interested in going to. And this is where the story begins. I stop about 5 feet from the table and say, "Hey man, I need to talk to you quick. Come here." DJ, looking very annoyed, gets up from the table and walks up to me, and you can see the relief wash over the poor girls. DJ:
"What? Can't you see I'm busy?"
Me: "Well, man, you're making a lot of people uncomfortable. I'm gonna need you to find your own table and leave folks alone."
"That's bull. Do you know who I am?"
Me, thinking, well, this is gonna end well. Not a clue, but you can either leave them alone or you're leaving. Those are the options.
"You can't kick me out. I'm the gambling manager of this bar. If you bug me again, I'll get you fired. I know John."
3 things you should know. Bar is allowed to sell pull tabs as long as the proceeds go to charity. 2. There's 9 employees. We were a tight-knit group who regularly hung out, and he wasn't one of them. And 3. The bar was called John's Place. Not real name. John is the owner's dog. Back to the story. Me: "I don't really care who you are. Those are the options. You choose, or I'll choose for you."
"Forget you. I'll leave when I want."
Me, still calm: "That's not how this works. Out, now." DJ, while jabbing a sausage finger into my chest:
"You're flipping fired, jerk. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a manager. You can't kick me out."
Me, getting pretty fed up: "Dude, don't touch me. You can either walk out or I can carry you out. Your choice."
"If you touch me again, I'm gonna ruin your..."
At this time, my patience pretty much ran out, so I cut him off by putting him in a headlock and dragging him out the door and placing him firmly on the sidewalk and going back to my post. You'd think this is where the story ends, but oh no, entitlement was strong with this one. 10 minutes go by, and who do I see sneaking into the bar? That's right, DJ. At this point, DJ is trespassing, so I pull out my phone and call the cops, give them a quick rundown, and then I go and grab DJ again, who had already latched onto another woman, and dragged him outside to wait for the cops. While outside, DJ is throwing a temper tantrum that would put any toddler to shame. Cops arrived in about 2 minutes. Small town. DJ, seeing the cops, decides to pull out his phone and starts filming, like he's the victim here. So the cop comes to me, and I tell him what was up and that he was removed before and came back, and that I needed a no trespass order, essentially banning him from the bar, and if he ever came back, he would get arrested. So cop steps up and tells DJ what's going on and that he needs to leave. DJ still refuses, so the cop begins to do his job. Cop:
"Sir, can I see your ID?" "No, I didn't do anything. I'm the gambling manager."
Cop: "Is he?" Me: "Nope." Cop takes a deep breath and asks again.
"Sir, give me your ID."
DJ, now shoving the camera in the cop's face while talking in a condescending voice.
"Am I being detained?"
Cop leans directly into the camera.
"Yes."
Now DJ somehow is in total surprise.
"For what?"
Cop: "Trespassing and drunk and disorderly."
"I'm not trespassing. He's lying. He attacked me. Arrest him."
"Sir, you were told to leave, and you're still on their property. That's trespassing." DJ, looking down, realizes he's still on the bar's patio and takes a quick step out of the gate. DJ smugly:
"Not anymore. Now you can't arrest me."
all while still filming. By this time, a few more cops showed up, and they are clearly done with the situation, and out comes the cuffs. At this point, DJ decides to go for broke and starts trying to fight the cops, all while screaming about how important he is and how he's going to get them fired too. I will say he put up a decent fight for about 5 seconds. Then I heard it. The pop! Tick, 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 tick. DJ rode the lightning and went down like a sack of potatoes. Cops slammed the cuffs on him and off he goes. I go back to my post and have a good laugh and finish the night. It turns out DJ worked for the pull tab company as a delivery boy, and it was against company policy to drink at any of their customers' establishments. He also, thanks to his own cell phone video, got charged with assaulting a police officer. As for me, after a milk bone and some belly rubs, John decided to let me keep my job. He's the goodest boy. Next we've got Entitled Dad Shamed by Restaurant Hostess. So this happened a few years ago, but reading others' stories got me thinking about the entitled parents I've come across over the years, and there's been a few. I lived and worked in a ritzy beach tourist town most of my life, made up of people who work there and people who vacation there. The tourists were basically all entitled parents, but this one is by far the most stubborn I encountered, but had the most satisfied feeling when he walked away. Backstory. One of the summers I was hostessing at a rather pricey and popular restaurant, the kind of place that you need a reservation for, especially on weekends. This night I was working with two of the owners and the manager. Our cast. We've got owner 1, an elderly woman who just likes greeting her guests. And we've got owner 2. We've got manager. We've got the hostess, me. We've got entitled dad, an older but not elderly man. And we've got embarrassed adult daughter. So here we go. It's a Saturday night at the height of the season, about 6 p.m. So just about to get hit with our non-stop, completely full reservation block over the next few hours. We don't have any tables available for walk-ins. The only tables that are empty are reserved for their upcoming reservations. So I'm at the hostess station in front with owner 1 and manager. In walks entitled dad and embarrassed daughter. Manager. Welcome to our restaurant. What was the name of your reservation? Entitled dad. We don't have one. Manager. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Unfortunately, we are completely booked tonight. The next open table won't be available for about 2.5 hours. Entitled dad scoffs. What do you mean you don't have a table? I count 10 empty ones right in there. Manager smiles understandingly. Sir, those tables are reserved. The guests will be showing up soon. Well, how soon? We can eat quick. That won't be possible. I'm sorry, sir. Embarrassed daughter. Dad, it's fine. I thought this might happen. We should have called. We will next time. Let's go to another restaurant. No, this is ridiculous. They're BSing me. I want to talk to the owner. At this point, owner 1 went to get owner 2. Owner 1 would rather not deal with this nonsense. No one can blame her. She's paid her dues. So owner 2 comes out. Owner 2. Hi there. What seems to be the problem here? This man keeps telling me he doesn't have any tables available for 2 hours. That's crazy. I see empty tables. Most annoying line to a hostess. Owner 2. Let me look at the reservations and tables here. Manager and I both try not to snicker. Owner 2 is a back-of-the-house manager. He doesn't know much about seating charts, but he's appeasing the man. I'm sorry, sir. Looks like the next table won't be available for another 2.5 hours. Fine. If that's really the case, then we'll wait. I'll stand right here the whole time. I know it won't be 2 hours. Embarrassed daughter. Come on. Can we please go somewhere else? No. I'm proving a point. They won't fill up like they claim they will. Embarrassed daughter, exasperated. Fine, Dad. You stay. I'm leaving. As she left, he was a little shocked, but not enough to follow her. So we took his name, and he proceeded to stand in our small entryway as people poured in. We were full within 20 minutes. But this stubborn, entitled dad held his ground. He was going to stay, wait, and glare at us. He kept mumbling to himself, and every now and then you'd hear, "Make my point." We turned countless other families away in that time, and every single one understood. Behind the scenes, owner 2 and manager were stressing that if and when he eventually got a table, he was going to get worse just out of spite. So they were trying to think of ways to get him to leave without outright throwing him out for no reason. After about 90 minutes, manager was sick of this guy's presence and went back to talk to owner 2 again. Our next reservation wouldn't be for another 20 minutes. I was at the stand now. Entitled dad walked up to me. I guess he thought going after the manager and owner didn't work, so maybe he could guilt the ditzy hostess. "How much longer?" Me, giving my best customer service smile. "Only about 30 minutes, sir." Entitled dad snorts and rolls his eyes. "Sure." That got me. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I had a lot of feelings about what he was doing, but not ones he was expecting. So in my sweetest voice, "Sir, that woman you came in with, she was your daughter?" Entitled dad proudly, "Yes, she is." I dropped my smile and purposely let myself look confused and upset. In all honesty, I genuinely was. "I'm sorry, sir. It's just, I lost my dad when I was a little girl. I would have loved the chance to have a father-daughter dinner with him. To see you just throw that away to prove a point is heartbreaking. I can't imagine how your daughter must feel." You guys, this shook him. I wasn't expecting that. He didn't say anything, just looked ashamed, stood there for a minute, then turned around and walked out. My eyes literally went wide as I turned to look at owner 1, who was giving the same look. I thought I was in trouble for a second, but then she started laughing and told me, "That's how you do it. That's how you put them in their place. Manager and owner 2 should have seen that." It was incredibly satisfying, and even though we didn't get one for his awful behavior, I hope he apologized to his daughter. And our final story of the day, entitled father almost attacked me over a shirt. I'm 26 now, and I still remember this vividly. Also, this is my first post ever, so please correct any mistakes. Obligatory, I'm on mobile, etc., etc. Our cast. We've got entitled dad, we've got me, Mega Man's earlobe, and we've got embarrassed kids. They didn't say anything, just looked sorry for how their father acted. One time I worked at a retail store that had a lot of merchandise and various knickknacks. Next to the store was a tea shop, and on the other side was a stuffed animal store. I worked at this place for a few years, and I absolutely loved my job. Oh, I was very cordial with all the guests and all the customers, and I did everything to the best of my ability. Now there was one moment that I will never forget because it was the scariest moment of my entire life. Scarier than the time I went on a roller coaster for the first time. Scarier than all the times I've walked in the dark by myself because I'm terrified of the dark. This was a terrifying time. Now I had just gotten the money into my till because I was working swing shift. We were just now changing cashiers. This plays an important part in this story. Now be aware this was in 2014, so I do not remember everything word for word. I will do my best to be as accurate as possible. The entitled father came to my register. Me. "Hello, sir. If you give me 1 second, I will be right with you." Entitled dad. "No, I'm not going to wait. They told me the same thing over at the other registers." "I'm sorry, sir, but we just started to change shifts, and it takes us a minute to get everything set up." "I don't care. This is what the other people told me, and I'm tired of it." "I'm sorry. I will hurry as fast as I can." I hurried to get the change out while my hands were shaking. Meanwhile, entitled dad kept yelling, "Do you know that the average man is a 2X to 3XL, and you have none in stock? How are you not going to have the most common size in stock?" Now I know for certain the average man is not a 2X or a 3X. But that's besides the point. I thought to myself, if it was a common shirt size, why in the heck does it shock you that it's sold out? I did not say this out loud, but boy, was I yelling it in my head. I apologized to him and asked if I could call a different store in the area to see if they had any shirts in that size. Now, they of course didn't want to do this. It was a hot day, and he was rather cheesed. Now, he bought whatever items he was getting for his kids, who looked positively embarrassed by this. They could have been no older than 12 and 10. Now, when we were taught to count money, it was always told that we have to count it 4 times to make sure that it's correct. We counted twice to ourselves out loud, and then we counted twice in front of the guests to make sure they know that it was the correct amount of change. Most people were okay with this and had no problems whatsoever, because they knew I was just doing my job. This entitled individual, this entitled father, didn't care one bit. Now, usually I have a little bit of banter between me and the customer or the guest that's in my queue, and usually they joke around and they playfully say, "Hurry up and count the money, you know I need to get out of here." But it was a complete joke, and they wanted me to do my job to the best of my abilities. The entitled father in this story had that same banter about him. I was looking down, trying to count his money to the best of my ability, and he said, "Hurry up." And I laughed and said, "Okay, sir, just give me 1 second. No, I'm serious. Hurry up and give me my change now." I looked up at his face. He was wearing black sunglasses and a Hawaiian print swimsuit, and he said, "I'm serious." He squared up in front of me as if he was going to tackle me. If it wasn't for the desk in between me, I would have been in serious trouble. Now, I'm not a small dude. I'm a fairly large individual. But this man was also a good size, and I also didn't like confrontation. His kids looked positively mortified at their father's behavior. They looked like they wanted to be anywhere but here. The kids gave me a look as if to say, "I'm sorry for this," and meanwhile, I'm trying hard not to cry. This man got his change and walked off. I immediately called security and told them what happened because I felt threatened. I was crying and I was upset, and my manager told me to go to the back office and cool off. Actually told me to go to an outside bench that sat next to a security station/police station that was in the area for that particular place. I knew all of the security guards and all of the police officers, and they knew I was a very good employee and I was a very kind person. It made them so mad that this happened. I was trying to calm down, and I was having a panic attack. I forget whether or not they sent me to the place's medical facility. All I know from that experience was that was the first time I had ever been threatened and almost attacked from anyone that wasn't my family, because brothers fight all the time. Being mortified, the security calmed me down. My supervisors calmed me down, and I was, I believe, able to go home early. They at least gave me the option too. I'm not sure if I took it. The security guards asked me about what the man looked like, and I told them. I gave them as detailed of a description as I possibly could, and they went to look for him. I'm not sure what happened to the entitled father, but it was something that I will never forget. I never want that type of interaction with a person again. I'm a very friendly and very outgoing person, and I try my best to make people feel comfortable when they're around me. My only problem is if that man is acting like this to an adult, imagine how he treats his kids. Those kids were more mature than he was, and that, at the end of the day, is what's really sad. I want to say it's been several years, and I'm able to laugh at this now. It's still something that I will never forget, but at the same time, it's rather funny that this man got all worked up over a stupid t-shirt that he could have gotten anywhere else in the area. And shoutouts to our Read Generals of the day, Robus White Wolf, Sherry Love, and Omkar. Become tomorrow's Read Generals by dropping as many reads as you can in the comments below.